off the subject of this card, and we're going to talk about who's just been all over the headlines, and that's Ronda Rousey, and she's deserving of it. I mean, George and I always give everybody a hard time, but Ronda Rousey is really just, through her performances and through obviously her recent stint in Hollywood and stuff, she is and now winning Female Athlete of the Years in the ESPYs. She's just really like on fire, dude. I mean, she is really taking female MMA to another level. She's
helping
really
the UFC. She's bringing press to the UFC because no other UFC
really
fighter had won an award at the ESPYs. Were they even there?
I don't know. They might have been nominated, but I don't know if they ever won. I think maybe one year GSP was nominated.
Yeah.
But he didn't win it. I mean, yeah, the fact that she won it, it's just, it's great, and it is. It does. It brings this mainstream publicity and ink to the UFC. I know Dana White has just got to be stroking the shit out of his dick about this because he's literally, when it comes to Ronda Rousey. But I mean, It's great. It's great for the company. It's great for women's MMA, which I'm sure he's trying to be built, and it's obviously going to be a big moneymaker for him down the road. And now, the fact, which George touched on earlier, that they're going to be signing big names, and George, I guess you can go ahead and carry on with this.
The first legitimate, and what I mean by legitimate is, here's a woman who's been an 18-time world champion in 3 separate weight classes in boxing. She's also been a kickboxer. Her name's Holly Holm. She's 5'8". The only downside I see to her is she's 32. She trains out of Greg Jackson camp. She's undefeated in MMA. With that said, she hasn't fought the creme de la creme. Now, the only reason that gets dwarfed or shadowed, people are looking at Holly Holm and thinking she's going to come in and beat Ronda Rousey. We don't know about her ground game. And we know about Ronda's ground game. And Ronda can take a punch to get inside the judo toss you. And as we saw last time, Ronda's got some hands that have been improving. Now, are they going to be on the same level as this woman? No way. This woman's been throwing her hands like you and I walk. I mean, she's just it's just natural. Now, the other, not so much strange news, but kind of odd. The 2 more pieces. Cyborg, don't forget about her. She this December is going to fight her first fight at 135. That'll be interesting. We'll all keep our eyes out and try to keep notes or tabs or whatever you do to pay attention to a sport that's really hard to find. But the biggest thing out of this is Gina Carano is rumored to be signing with the UFC for a potential super fight, title fight, whatever you want to call it, in December with Ronda Rousey. Good for the sport, bad for women's MMA, in my opinion. But it's a business decision above all else. I think the one thing you have to worry about Dana White is, what do you do if this girl can't make weight? She struggled making 145, and now you're asking her to make 135? How about you not make it a title fight at all and just make it a catchweight fight? Make it like 140.
Yeah, I mean, it's and then there's still, it's so funny because you look at Gina Carano, and I was a huge fan of Gina Carano when she was in Strikeforce, and it was like, she did go through everybody. She beat everybody. But, man, the sport, it's just like when Royce Gracie was in the UFC originally and stuff like this. You look at how much the sport has evolved. And in the time that has passed, and Gina Carano not being focused on her training, I mean, I can't speak for her. I mean, maybe she is, but she has had the Hollywood distraction. Ronda Rousey and the way some of these girls have evolved, the sport has evolved, is crazy. I mean, and you're looking at Ronda Rousey. I mean, Ronda Rousey, this girl is vicious, man. I mean, we sat there and laughed about stuff and made fun, but I mean, George and I both sat here and said, you know what do you? I mean, you look at her last fight, and she throws an overhand right, which is not even her go-to move. Her overhand right was nasty. It was technical. It was on point, and it rocked the girl. The girl, for that split second where she rocks her, she throws a right knee up into her rib cage. She throws her ass with a judo flip, and then the next thing you know, she's a crucifix and she's beating the fucking living shit out of her. That's quick thinking. That's reacting. Like, I mean, did you see women doing this back 3 and 4 years ago? No. Like, there was nobody doing this thing. Like, Ronda Rousey is now a complete fighter. Like, the shit she did was, the only thing that got her to the ground was the judo toss. She didn't have her in the armbar. She started putting her away with everything else. And this was supposed to be her stiff competition. Like, I mean, I think Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano would have problems with people, Misha Tate's, the Misha Tate's, and the other girls.
And that's why you go ahead and cash in now. You cash in and give Gina Carano that title fight, hopefully right there at that New Year's Christmas card to cash in, use the big names. But again, I think he's going to get burned with her trying to make weight if she signs. Now, as of Sunday, whatever day of the week this is, day of the month this is, she is yet to sign. There's rumors that her and her Dana and her lawyers are meeting on Monday to try to iron this shit out. I think what's today?
I'm not sure.
The 19th? No, today's the 20th. No, next Saturday's the 20th.
Today's the 20th.
Okay.
Today's the 20th.
So on the 21st, her lawyers and Dana are supposed to sit down and try to iron this out. And part of the thing is she wants a title shot. And you know what? If I'm Gina Carano, you try to strike while the iron's hot. I mean, if you think you're holding, 4 aces, now's the time to play them because you haven't fought. She hasn't fought. And once we get to August 15th, she hadn't fought in 5 years.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what, your first fight back should not be against the champ. That would be like GSP. I understand you're a phenomenal athlete. Taking 5 years off and coming back to fight the welterweight champ. It's just bad idea.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's bad because, obviously, you've aged, it's bad. I mean, the conditioning has been better. Everybody's so much well-rounded. It's just a lot. It's a tall order.
And what's the thing I tell you all the time when we're talking about football? When we're talking about practice and preseason and the difference between that and a game.
Talking practice. Yeah, I mean, it's
game speed.
It's game speed,
your
dude.
Your sparring is not going to be the same as a fucking fight. It's not. I don't care who you spar with. You don't spar like you fight. You don't fight like you. It just. So I think it's a horrible idea for Gina Carano, but it's a payday.
Yeah, and Ronda Rousey she reminds me very much of Chael Sonnen, how she presses the fuck out of you. Like, she presses you, and it was kind of like Chael Sonnen's game at first. He got you to the ground, and he used what his strength was, and that's what that's what Rousey's was. Press you, get you in a fucking armbar, throw you to the ground, get you an armbar, and it was a wrap. But the difference between her and Chael Sonnen is that now she's got fucking every weapon. Like, I mean, she can punch you she can press you and fucking land punches, or fucking she beat Sarah McMahon. What hurt her with Sarah McMahon was basically fucking putting her in the Muay Thai clinch and throwing fucking knees to the body. No one expected that. I didn't expect that. So her last two